I wanted to make this video very quickly on something that I thought about a few days ago, and it's about how positivity in our society is so skewed and the concept is taught in a way that is like very nonsensical and just not in a way that is productive or like even scientifically resonant with like a lot of people. Here's why. When I was in high school, I was very depressed. I was just not in a good place for like 3 years of my high school experience, I think. Pretty much all 4 of them, actually. For me personally, it was just like the overload of work that we had. It was just like too much. It was very strenuous, and like the workload that we had combined with like the monotony of everyday life and like things that we had to do were very repetitive. And we were around the same people all the time. Like there were really only like 100 people in my graduating class. It was a very small school. So I was pretty much like unhappy throughout the entirety of my high school career, and like it was largely because of the fact that like I didn't know who I was. I didn't know how to figure out who it is that I was doing the same thing all 4 years, and I just had like a huge workload, and like everyone around me was unhappy and struggling, and I only really had like 3 other close friends and all that kind of stuff. I can't pinpoint exactly what went wrong, but all I remember is that throughout the entirety of my high school experience, when I was like very depressed, like seriously utterly depressed, everybody would say like, oh, just be positive, like just be positive. And our school was like, I don't know, it was almost like this big sorority. Like the way that they portrayed like sisterhood and positivity and all that stuff was very emphasized, and I didn't like that. That didn't sit well with me. Like it made the school seem very culty. And of course I graduated, and this is my channel so I can talk freely about it, but I just did not have a very good time. So I would always hear like be positive and like just be happy and like don't worry, like be positive and all that stuff. And like I really got so angry every single time I heard that. I like literally would get so mad, because like you don't tell somebody who's depressed, you don't tell somebody who's going through a really hard time to just be positive. Like that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't work. It's not conducive to their self-growth or self-betterment. It actually may reverse the need to go in this like upward wave of improving and stuff, and like it just overall made me very mad. So the reason why I don't like to say like, oh, just be positive and stuff, because it's very like, where's your evidence, you know? Where is your evidential backing to that statement, to that phrase? Why should I be positive? What does that mean? If I should be positive, then that means that I'm being negative, but I'm not being negative. I'm being realistic. And like you're in this mindset of like, you know, you think you're being realistic and all this stuff. And like in some ways you are. That's why it's not good to discredit your emotion and your depression and all that stuff, because like that is so genuinely true for you. That is your truth, right? That is so real for you, as it was for me. And so like I hated hearing that all the time. So what I think people should say instead of be positive, which like doesn't help, it doesn't do anything for anybody, it reverses the innate need to want to be positive. It puts you in a place in which you are self-victimized, and you're like, okay, I'm being negative then if I have to be positive. You feel me? You don't have to be anything. I think instead of saying or like even hearing the phrase like be positive, we should just be saying be. Right? Just be whatever it is that like your soul yearns to be. Think about it. The soul as like an energetic composition is in itself positive. It doesn't need to be anything. It doesn't need improving in any way. The human condition that we place ourselves in, and also like that surround us on a material level based on our karma, based on what we've incurred throughout this lifetime, etc., is a whole different story. That is the external environment with which we interact with, right, on an everyday basis. We are very interchangeable with our ecosystem. We exist in ecosystems. That is a whole different story. We can change our external circumstances, and we can like change the way that we see our life and like all this stuff, and we can alter our surroundings as such. And when we begin to alter the physical, the mental shifts with it. When we begin to alter how it is that we exist, the way that our minds interpret our lives and the people that we interact with and our environment that we interact with, and then ourselves changes. When you change the exterior, the interior begins to change, and vice versa too, right? When we change the interior, the exterior begins to change. It is a mutual transaction of energy, interchangeable energy. So instead of saying be positive, right, which like is so counterproductive and just makes absolutely no sense, that is like the most like just unbased, like biased, like hippie, like what is it, like eat, pray, love thing like I've ever heard in my entire life. And like I'm all for that. I do that on an everyday basis. I eat, I pray, and I love. But like I'm going to give reason to everything that I do. I don't just eat to eat, I don't just pray to pray, and I don't just love to love. There are reasons why we structure our lives around morals in such a way, and there's a reason why we have to structure our lives around this concept of being. We are perfect as it is on an energetic level. The trick, the key, is to just understanding that perfection. And once we understand that perfection, then we can change our external environment to reach it, because it is very high up there. It is very perfect, and like it doesn't come with any baggage. It doesn't come with any criteria. The way that we are on an energetic level is comprised of pure prana, right? Because we are like in this mutual linkage with source. And because we have this linkage, we are already perfect. It says this in the Bible. It says this like everywhere. Like, I'm not trying to quote a certain religion. I'm saying this very, very objectively. We were made as beings of creation. And because we are beings of everything that operates in such a very perfect manner, like think about it, the sun doesn't fail to rise each day, right? The way the universe functions is perfect. A spider is the greatest natural architect that like we will ever really encounter. It knows math already. It's instinctually hardwired into itself. It doesn't need to study anything to build a web, right? So nature at its very core is extremely perfect. And because of this, we can say that as beings of creation, as part of nature, we as well are perfect. So we don't need to be anything. We don't need to be positive. We don't need to be negative. We just need to be. Positivity and negativity is up to us. It's like predetermined by the way that we see the world and the way that we interact with the world. It doesn't have to do with who we are on an internal level, right? You can change the way you're thinking at any point in time just by changing your thought process. Like it's not, it's not a hard thing once you figure out how to do it. But until then, like, you're just really not used to it. It's something that's very like out of pocket and just like unordinary. So yeah, that is my 2 cents. I don't believe in the phrase be positive. I don't think you should be anything. I think you should find the perfection that is, not composed of any materialistic composition. So like, not because of the body, not because of your status in society, not because of how much money you have, not because of the friends you have even, but because you are existing as energy that has never been created and will never be destroyed. That's it. Like, why they say, laws of physics, energy can never be created nor destroyed. Why? Because the universe as an entity does the creation and the destruction. The universe as an entity creates the laws of physics. You see what I'm saying? So it goes hand in hand with that. But I am almost out of time. I hope this video was entertaining at the very least for you. I hope it was enlightening, and I hope it reminded you to understand that you can be and feel however you like, and you are valid in that expression of yourself, because we are so pure. We're so pure. And when we know that, we only want to do good things. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.
Okay, it's rap packed to my pulse flat. We keep it real, no false rap. I got 4 cars and they all black. Got 4 bras and they all that. We call that ballin'. Doing this is my calling. Flow is so appalling. My phone off and she calling. I'm like, yeah, what it do?